Next up on WTV, virtual students, this week's installment of Mystery Movie and Real Talk. WTV's Daily Update starts now. Hey there, Red Hawk Nation. Today is Friday, December 18th, and I'm Alyssa Murphy with today's Daily Update, brought to you by Wingspan TV. As the first semester of the school year comes near its end, about half of students still attend school from home. After months through the pandemic, students and teachers seem to have adapted. WTV's Varun Saravanan has the story.
Over the past 9 months, students and teachers have changed their daily workflow. Students and faculty members were asked to attend school face-to-face. Just like last year, students in the virtual academy continue to learn from their homes, but the experience has since evolved.
The last quarter of last year, the teachers weren't really a part of our learning anymore. I mean, they had Zoom classes and all that, but it wasn't really like interactive as we could be. Like, I guess now, like, since we have daily Zoom classes and they're mandatory too, I think that helps us learn because I don't think any of us were actually, learning and profiting from our learning at the end of the year, especially since it was the end of the year,
This year, teachers conduct class from their desk, virtually over Zoom conferences. The experience for students at home will be different than those in person, but teachers make sure that the content they teach stays the same throughout.
My teaching style has necessarily changed. We have just digitized the resources and the experiences. We are doing the same notes that we would have done in class. It's just you're doing it on Cami rather than pencil and paper. We're doing the same lab experiences that we would do in class. It's just that it's a digital video analysis rather than a physical hands-on experience.
Virtual learning is going to continue to be an option for the remainder of the 2020-2021 school year, but no decisions have been made regarding the next year. Reporting for WTV, I'm Varun Saravanan.
Going to college isn't cheap, but to help students understand what it costs,
The Business Information Management class, BIM, finished a project that took a look at the cost of college.
The College Cost Project is about exploring the different costs of colleges and the enrollment and putting it into an Excel spreadsheet and then applying some of the objectives and learning targets that you guys have learned while taking BIM.
Students had to pick 10 schools and figure out the various costs for each school, including tuition and fees, rooms and boards, meals, and many other expenses. For their students had to find which college costs the least in every category and which college costs the most in all categories.
I think that the project's pretty fun and it gives me an idea of how much it'll cost to go to college, which is cool. And it makes me think of like different schools that I might want to go to and narrow it down. I would say that the major takeaway is just knowing more about the schools that you're going to and how much they are, so you can kind of know which ones you might think of going to and which ones are interesting to you.
Reporting for WTV, I'm Ricardo Said.
On this week's edition of Real Talk, WTV's Madigan Gunya asked students about the holidays.
Hey Red Hawks, it's WTV's Madigan Gunya with this week's edition of Real Talk. This week we're going to be asking students about winter holidays. Do you celebrate any holidays in December?
Hanukkah. Well, I celebrate Christmas.
What's the purpose of the holiday that you celebrate?
So the story of Hanukkah is where there was a battle and like a revolution against the Syrian Greeks from the Jews, and the Jews only had about 1,000 people in their army while the Greeks had about 10,000, and the Jews were able to defeat the Greeks using only sticks and handmade weapons, which was a miracle in itself because the Greeks had lots of other weapons like shields and swords and so on. And so then they found oil, and the reconsecration of oil was supposed to only last for 1 day, which ended up lasting 8 days and 8 nights, which is why Hanukkah is celebrated for 8 days and 8 nights, or 8 nights. And the reconsecration is actually the Hebrew word for Hanukkah, which is where that word comes from.
Like religiously, I think the whole purpose is to like celebrate the birth of my Savior.
How do you celebrate it?
So my family, I'm only half Jewish. My dad's side is Jewish. So for Hanukkah, we get gifts from my dad's side family. And then every night on the 8 days of Hanukkah, we will go to the menorah and light one of the lights, and that is how we celebrate it.
Well, I go to church on Christmas Eve, but like the less religious side of it, I get gifts and give gifts on the 25th.
Do you have any traditions?
One tradition we have for Hanukkah is listening to the song Miracle by Matisyahu, and it's a really good song, and the music video is also really cute and funny, and it's basically just telling the story of Hanukkah and why it's important and why we celebrate it.
Well, on Christmas Eve, we always go out to eat to like some fancy restaurant.
And what does it mean to you?
Hanukkah means to me miracles, obviously, and of course spending time with family and having fun and just getting to be with the people who you know love you the most. And I think it's a really interesting holiday, and I think it's a great way to celebrate, not only for me to get to celebrate Christmas, but to get to celebrate Hanukkah as well, because I kind of get a mix of those cultures, and it's really interesting to learn about.
Christmas is meaningful to me because I think people are nicer around Christmas. You know what I mean? Like, people are more giving, like, you know? Like, let's say you need $20. I'm more likely to give it to you around Christmas than some random day in March. You feel me? Like, I'm not gonna go give you $20 in March. But around Christmas, I'm like, okay, well, I'll put that towards your gift. You know what I mean?
Reporting for WTV, this is Madigan Gunya.
Andrew Hadigi brings you this week's installment of Mystery Movie.
Hey there, Red Hawks. Welcome back to Mystery Movie. As always, I'm your host, Andrew Hadigi. Last week's winners were Connor Andrus, Preston Mealy, and Lilia Ma, and the first teacher to respond with the answer was Mr. Cantor. Now get your phones out and ready for this week's hint. In this Christmas classic, our hero, against great odds, systematically eliminates his opponents by utilizing guerrilla warfare tactics. If you think you know the correct answer, scan the QR code or go to the link below to access the Google form. If you missed the hint, it's provided again on the Google form. Good luck! That's it for Mystery Movie. I've been your host, Andrew Hadigi.
If you're looking for more from Wingspan, you can follow us at Liberty Wingspan on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or visit our award-winning website, libertywingspan.com. And now for today's announcements. Anybody interested in trying out for baseball needs to see Coach Sepanik in Portable 4 or Coach McGar in Portable 2 to get information about the upcoming tryout. Today, eSports will be holding a Valorant tournament from 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock. Sign up by scanning the QR code below. That's it for today's Daily Update. This is Alyssa Murphy for Wingspan TV.